Lesson 5, homework question number 13. Joe has two routes he can drive to work. Number 1, understand the problem. He wants to learn which route is the fastest. Step 2, identify variables and assumptions. The time to drive each route varies a little every day. Joe assumes that each route will be open and safe to drive. Step 3, apply quantitative tools. Over the next 2 weeks, Joe alternated driving the two routes. He timed the length of his drive on each route. He calculated the mean and standard deviation of the times for both routes. The mean for Route 1 is 25.2 minutes and Route 2 is 25.8 minutes. The standard deviation for Route 1 is 1.8 minutes and standard deviation for Route 2 is 8.9 minutes. Which route has the possibility of a very short amount of time to drive to work? Because of the standard deviation being small in Route 1, this means that most of the times are very similar to the mean. With a standard deviation of 8.9 minutes, this has a much broader option or variation for the data points around the mean of 25.8 minutes. So because of this wider spread, it has a much higher possibility of having much higher drive times than Route 1. So we're going to say Route 2 has a possibility of a very short amount of time to drive and a very high possibility of a high amount of time to drive to work. Because of the higher standard deviation, there's a much wider spread, so they aren't as close to the 25.8. The next one, which route results in the most consistent times? As described, the standard deviation of 1.8 minutes has much less spread around the mean of 25.2. So the Route 1 will be a much smaller and more consistent time. Smaller spread, more consistent. The next one, which route is more likely to take a very long time on occasion? That's very similar to the first one and kind of already talked about it. So it's Route 2 because the standard deviation has a much wider spread. The last one, which Route 1 or 2 do you think Joe should choose? It depends on which is your preference. Do you like having the possibility of maybe having a very short route, but on occasion you might also have a very long route? Or this one, especially if you are prone to getting frustrated in traffic, the Route 1, because it's very consistent, is probably the way to go because you know what to expect and there's not going to be as much frustration. So I'm going to say Route 1. Next, evaluate your reasoning. Under which of the following circumstances should Joe reevaluate his decision? Mark all that apply. The installation of traffic lights on the route he has chosen. That definitely changes the wait time or the drive time if there's a traffic light because you have more possibilities of being stuck at a red light. Next one, Joe changes job locations. Well, that definitely changes all routes, so we're going to select that one as well. Next, the number of vehicles on the route change. Yeah, so if we have a lot more traffic, then that can slow things down, or a lot less traffic, that can speed things up. So that would change both of the means for both routes. And the last one, road construction on the route he has chosen. That will definitely slow things down. So actually all of those will change the circumstances in which he should reevaluate his decision. We can come and verify how did I do and look for all of our green check marks. Looks good, and we can move to the next one.